Hello there, Tottenham fans. Welcome to the new Spurs debate show where I will pick top popular subjects to discuss with you guys and you guys can have your say. This is the third time I've tried to do this. I haven't done many lives in my lifetime as a Spurs content creator, as I've normally just do videos. So I thought I'd do something extra for you guys, for us to have a little chat, for you to get to know me a little bit more, and for us to have a little bit of fun with these debates. So my first debate today, I'm going to get straight into it. You know what I'm like if you've seen me before. My first debate today is who has the highest ceiling, Odegaard or Tell? Now, I picked these two because they're both similar players. They're both French. They're both the same age. And they're both playing similar sort of areas on the pitch. So who has the highest ceiling? Let's talk about Odegaard first. I think he's having a breakthrough season this year. He is getting a lot of trust from Thomas Frank. He is coming on leaps and bounds. It seems like his confidence is a lot better than it has been in previous times. He had a horrific injury last season, which kept him out of the game for a very, very long time, nearly most of the season. If you added up his minutes last season, he only played roughly around 10 games. That's not a lot, but when you come into this season, he is flourishing. Last night, he was playing against Slavia Prague, and I thought in the first 20 minutes, he was absolutely electric, taking on his man at every opportunity, running into space for Spence to play it through to him. He was causing a havoc on that left-hand side. Now, improvements need to be made with Odegaard. He needs to be better at his finishing, and he needs to be a little bit more prolific when it comes to creating chances. Now, he could have had a chance. He could have had an assist in the first 48 seconds if Richarlison could finish his dinner, but he didn't. And that's one criticism I have of Odegaard, is he just needs to pick up his numbers, his goals and assists. But he's still a young lad. He's still got plenty of time to improve on all that. And I feel like he's getting better and better and better. I still think we will probably need to sign someone on the left-hand side, someone for him to learn off and for him to come in and not have all the pressure on him on that left-hand side. Now, if we move to Matisse Tell has shown very high glimpses of being a really top player. When he comes on off the bench, he always seems to make an impact, whether he scores or assists, or just almost scores an assist, or just creates havoc when he comes in that number 9 role. He came on last night against Slavia Prague, played on the left-hand side, had 2 shots, both of them though on target, and he could have easily scored yesterday, and he only came on after 58 minutes. Both players are showing signs of improvement. Both players are getting better and better, but which one is better? Which one is better than the other? For me, I think they're both showing the same level of capability at the moment. I think Odegaard at this moment in time is just slowly edging it, in my opinion, only just. If Tell gets more game time and now he's been entered into the Champions League squad, we may see a lot more from Matisse Tell. The only problem for Tell is competition for places, especially in the number 9 role, as you've got Mawani there, who is an absolute exceptional player, Richarlison and Solanke, even though Solanke's still injured and I don't know when he's coming back. So Tell gets games few and far between, so it's very hard for him to prove himself. Odegaard is getting more game time, so Frank is showing more faith in him at the moment. So I think in this debate, I think Odegaard just gets it, just creeps in over Tell. Now, the next subject I want to tell, I picked 2 more players that were very similar, like Tell and Odegaard, and that's Gray and Bergvall. Who has the higher ceiling out of Gray and Bergvall? Now, this was just as hard as picking it between Tell and Odegaard, as because these 2 guys are the same age. They've both got the same sort of skill set, both good on the ball, both loves going in for a tackle. Both of these are 19 years old. So who has the higher ceiling? For me, I cannot tell. I can't tell which one's going to be better than the other one just yet. Archie Gray played a lot of game time last season, but very, very much out of position. So we couldn't really judge him on how good he really is. But now he's playing in that midfield role. You can see he's a lot more comfortable. He's very, very good on the ball. His positional awareness is very underrated. And I feel he could go to the very, very top. But I feel the same about Bergvall too. I feel like sometimes he makes the wrong decision, but he's 19 years old. Sometimes he makes rash challenges, like again last night against Slavia Prague when he came on. He was making challenges that were needless and giving away free kicks rather than just getting in there and winning the ball like Gray was doing in the first half. So who's got the higher ceiling out of these two guys? It's very, very hard to tell. I need you guys to tell me in the comments what you think. I need you guys to tell me who is better, Gray or Bergvall. Now, for me, I'm going to have to sit on the fence for this one because I love both players and I really hope that both of them can be on the pitch at the same time. I'm really hoping that these two could be the future of our midfield. I don't understand why they wouldn't be, because they've got so much talent between them. We've been burnt before in the past with young players coming through and how much we tell everybody how great they are, and then they end up falling off and then we don't see them again. I really liked Oliver Skipp back in the day. I really thought when he went to the Championship and he played absolutely exceptionally well in the Championship. I think he got Player of the Year, came to Spurs, started off okay, started off pretty well, and then just filtered out. Managers didn't fancy him, and then he ended up being sold. We ended up getting 20 million for him, which I thought was a really good bargain at the time. So will and Gray and Bergvall go down that route as well? Are they going to be going down the route of, oh no, we haven't got them anymore? So I don't think so. I think these two are going to be top players. They're going to be exceptional players. And whoever's got the higher ceiling at the moment will go to the very, very top, because both of these players have potential to be world-class players for sure. Now, my next subject is going to be, can any of our strikers hit 20+ goals? Now, for me, at the moment, no. Richarlison's having a good run of form. He's scored, or was it 6 goals this season already? 6 or 7 goals. So he's on course to hitting 20 goals, but will he? And will he stay fit all season? Will he stay fit enough to score the 20+ goals? Also, will he be good enough to stay in the first 11 if Solanke comes back from injury and Mawani keeps playing the way Mawani's playing? It's going to be very difficult for Richarlison to keep getting 90 minutes. And I do feel that with Richarlison, he does like have poor performances if he gets overplayed, in my opinion. Like for the Slavia Prague game yesterday, I felt like his form dropped off, because I thought he was very, very good in the previous game against Brentford. I thought he was exceptional against Brentford, to be honest. And now his form's dropped off again. He needs rest. He needs rotation. With Solanke, I don't know when he's going to come back. There's no chance he's going to get 20 goals this season. He's not even played this season. So he's miles off it and miles behind. So when he is on form and he is fit, I think he got 16 goals in all competitions last season. He can be a goal scorer. And maybe if it's not an Ange Postecoglou system and it's a Frank system where they put a lot of crosses in, that's his bread and butter. Maybe that will work for him. We can only see when he starts playing under Frank. Now with Mawani for me should be our first choice striker. If he's not our first choice striker, then he should be at least on the left wing, because I think this guy is an exceptional player, and I think he's getting better and better and better. I think he's very good on the ball, very skillful, very direct, very good with his link-up play, good with the hold-up plays, very strong. He can score goals and he can get assists. That's the closest we're going to get to a 20-goal-a-season striker. I do believe that we should sign Mawani up full-time. I think we should sign him up and get him on a contract, because I think he's a brilliant player and he's just growing from strength to strength. So the answer to all of this, can any of our players get 20 goals a season? At the moment, the answer is no. None of them have proven it. You could even add Brennan Johnson into this. He had his best goal scoring season last season, scoring 18 goals. We haven't had a 20-goal scoring thing since Kane and Sonny. They're the last two guys that actually achieved it. We need to get players scoring goals again if we want to reach to that very, very top. Now, the next subject I want to talk about today is, where can Tottenham finish this season? Now, I predicted that Spurs would finish 6th at the start of the season. Wait, I'm just going to get rid of that sun. Is that better? It's better. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, where can Tottenham finish this season? I predicted 6th at the beginning of the season because I thought, Spurs would improve massively with their defending, and plus we signed for some really top players, which I'll get into later in this video. I still think Spurs can finish 6th. I really do. I do think Spurs can finish in the top 6 this season, but they're going to have to be very consistent. If they can't be consistent, then it's going to be very difficult to imagine that we can finish 6th. If you can lose 2 games, you can drop all the way down to 12th, 13th. If you win games, you can go up to at least 3rd or 4th. So consistency is key. If we can stay more consistent than other teams in the Premier League, then we've got a very good chance of finishing in that top 6. If you look at the Premier League, it's very, very close. There's no consistent teams in that Premier League other than the Gooners, but they've seemed to have fallen off a little bit lately, dropping points at Chelsea, dropping points at Sunderland, and then losing badly to Aston Villa. So again, you need to be consistent to finish higher up in this league. If Spurs can find consistency, sort out that home form, keep that away form going, we have a very good chance of finishing in that top 6. Why not? Why can't we finish in that top 6? So it would be very, very good if we could finish in that top 6, because then that would mean we would be in the Europa League. If we end up in the Europa League, we have a very good chance, in my opinion, of going on next season to win that trophy again. That would be absolutely outstanding. I would love to be in the Champions League again, don't get me wrong, because that would mean we have got more money to sign top players and build towards trying to maybe win the Champions League one day, which would be an ultimate dream for me. I can't believe how close we came in 2018 and we didn't win it, or 2019 and we didn't win it. I couldn't believe it. But it's all good. Tottenham can finish 6th, build from that, still buy some top players, try to get ourselves another trophy in the Europa League. That would be absolutely outstanding. So 6th place for me. Let me know in the comments where you think Spurs can potentially finish this season. I've stayed with 6 from the beginning. Even when we was going through that bad patch, I still thought we had a chance of finishing 6th. Now, let me have a look at the next subject. The next subject is, how far can Tottenham go in the Champions League? Well, for me, I think we've basically qualified in the top 24 now, unless something really bad happens. If we can get a result against Frankfurt, which is quite possible, we've done it before, we can do it again, and we can get ourselves into that last 16. The key is getting ourselves into that top 8. If we can get into that top 8, we might have a more favourable draw in the last 16. We'll be playing one of the teams that finished 24th. Hello, Dan. How you doing, mate? You okay? My first live in a while, so bear with me. I ain't done this for a while. Let me know, Dan, how far do you think we can go in that Champions League? So let me just... Yeah. And then, so I think that if we can get a favourable draw in the last 16, we have got a very good chance of getting in that quarterfinals. If we can get in that quarterfinals, then that would be absolutely amazing. That's a very good season for me, getting in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And you know what? I did not expect us to get to the final last time. If you have a lot of luck, get really a huge amount of luck with injuries, and you can, we can compete with PSG on the day, even though they ripped us apart at some points of the game. But we did compete with them. We was ahead of them twice in that game. So anything can happen in football, but I think a good season would be finishing quarterfinals of Champions League. I am not expecting for 1 second to be going and saying that we're going to be winning that. There's too many good teams in that Champions League, and we'd have to have all the luck in the world to even get past the quarterfinals in my view. Even the last 16 is going to be very, very difficult, especially playing home and away. So quarterfinals would be decent for me. I'd love to do that. As long as we finish higher up in the Premier League. Is it as successful as last season? No, because we won a trophy last season. But is it more of a builder? Yeah, we can build more. So that would be good. So, yeah, as long as we're heading in the right direction, that's all good for me. Let me show what Dan says. So Dan says, we will get to the knockouts, depends on the draws, how far we go. January is key, need to sign quality to help us. That's a good point, actually, there, Dan, because I didn't even mention the signings. If we can sign some top players in January and we're in a good position in the Champions League and we end up getting through to the last 16, let's say we finished in the top 8. It is possible. We've got 2 winnable games, Dortmund and Frankfurt. So if we can do that and we sign some top quality players, why can't we get to the quarterfinals and pray to get to the semi-finals? There's some really, really good sides out there. And remember, Frank is still on his early days of his career at Spurs. He's still trying to figure out what his first 11 is. So it's not easy to predict, but it's a good point what Dan said there, saying January we need to sign quality players. Dan, who would you sign in this January window? And I'll tell you what, if I go on to my next thing I was going to say, actually, if I talk about this subject, which position on the pitch would be a top priority? So, for example, if we could sign one player in the transfer window, would it be left back, left wing, midfield, or striker? What is the top priority for us now? Because obviously we've got Mawani performing pretty well in that striker role. We've got Jed Spence covering really well at left back, and left wing Odegaard's doing okay. But I do think the left wing is probably more of a weakness than anything. I think we should sign a midfielder as well, because Bissouma I don't think is going to play for us again. So let me know, what do you think? Who do you think we should sign? And what is the priority position that we should sign? The players that are coming through, the players that are in the squad are doing okay, to be honest. So Dan says, for me, don't expect to go far. Just good for the team's experience. We have to be honest with ourselves. There are so many better teams than us. Yeah, that was what I was just saying, Dan. There's too many good teams in that Champions League for us to even think about winning it. You got like Real Madrid, business end of the season, they're always up for it. They're always going to be there or thereabouts. You've got Bayern Munich, who ripped us apart before. You've got PSG again, who are one of my favourites to win it again. And then you've got the Premier League teams. You've got teams like Arsenal, City, even Liverpool, even though they're having poor form at the moment. If they turn it around, they've got top quality players, and they could easily, turn it around and go try and win that. So it'd be more of a dream to win the Champions League than it would to be realistic, in my opinion. So which position is the top priority for us? So if I had to choose one of all those 4, I would actually say probably it would be, for me, a midfielder. Simply because Bissouma is going to be going. You don't know what's going to happen with injuries. We need a ball playing midfielder as well to link up with Xavi. I know Bergvall and Gray are coming on leaps and bounds, but they still need a top quality midfielder, in my opinion, to learn off. If they can rotate with this new midfielder coming in, that would be absolutely excellent. Any players that we bring in have to improve our first 11. We can't be bringing in squad players now. We've got the squad players in our squad, in my opinion. I think we've got Grays, the Bergvalls, we've got Odegaard, the Tells. They're all great squad players, but we need to really improve that first 11. If the opportunity came up and we could sign a left winger, and the left winger was Semenyo, I'd snap him up straight away. You know, I know he's an Arsenal fan and all that sort of crap, but if Arsenal don't go in for him after spending so much in the summer, then we have a really good chance of getting him in January. And I think that's our best chance of getting him would be in January. So what did Dan say now? So Dan says, we need a quality midfielder, someone who can make us more secure on the ball, a calm head. We need to improve on keeping the ball. Really quality need to two longer terms. That's true. Yeah, exactly what I was just saying, Dan. See, great minds think alike. And I think that sun's getting in my head. That's it. The sun's beaming off my bald head, look. So yeah, I agree with Dan. Great minds think alike, mate. We'd need a ball playing midfielder. You okay? Yeah, can if you want. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, we need a ball playing midfielder. We need someone that can get on the ball, like Dan said. We need to control the midfields, and if we don't control the midfield, we normally don't control the games. So yeah, Bergvall and Gray are good. They're good players. They will be better than they are. I think in the next couple of years they'll be absolutely superb players, but we need that player to come in now, especially if you're playing the latter stages of the Champions League, like the last 16 or the quarterfinals. You need that ball playing midfielder that can put his foot on the ball and dictate the games. So thanks for that comment, Dan, as well. We need also clinical striker and a left winger. Also need to think about a left back, as your doggy is unreliable. Yeah, 100%. A clinical striker. I think Mawani can be a clinical striker, though. I really do. I think he can be. He's still learning the game. He got injured when he first came in. He's still learning about the players around him. He's still getting to know them. Frank's only just started to get his attacking pattern to play right, and they're still not spot on yet. They're still a bit robotic, but I think Mawani will get lots of chances, and I think he will get lots of goals for Spurs, but only time will tell. If he can't, then obviously, yes, we definitely need to buy a striker. I'm not sure if that is a priority at the moment, but I do think a left winger would be superb if we could get, like I said, someone like a Semenyo in. That'd be absolutely brilliant. Imagine a Semenyo on the left, Kudos on the right, Xavi in the middle, and a Kudos up front. That's a lot of attacking power there. A lot of attacking power. Let's hope so. We need to see Mawani over time. Give him a chance. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Dan. 100%. We need. So I'm just going to get that sun out of the way. Yeah, we need Mawani to give him time. It takes a long while sometimes for a striker to get up to speed in the Premier League. It's not easy. Like top players around Europe struggle in the Premier League sometimes. Like you've got Florian Wirtz. I think he's an absolute exceptional player. He really is, and he's struggling in the Premier League. I think it's a lot to do with Liverpool struggling as a whole, and that's probably affecting him as well. But it's not easy to just come into the Premier League and be a top goal scorer straight away. Gyökeres was, I rated Gyökeres a lot. If he came to Spurs, I would have been happy. But he's struggling as well, in my opinion. He's not making nowhere near as much of an impact at Arsenal as he was for Sporting Lisbon. And you can say that's an easy league, but he was doing it in the Champions League as well, scoring many, many goals. So it's not easy just to jump in and start, playing things. So I agree with you there. Mawani needs a lot of time. Dan says, so much happier that we are now creating more chances. Be better last couple of games. That's all we can ask. Improvement, progression. Exactly. And I did a video saying that it was very, very hard to get behind when we were watching games. And we were getting 0.07 XG against Fulham at home in the first half. It was very hard to get behind because no fan wants to see that. No attacking play when you're at home to a no disrespect to Fulham, but an inferior side. We should be beating Fulham hands down, and we were making them look like prime Barcelona, which we shouldn't be doing. And when you play teams like Arsenal and Chelsea and get wiped the floor with and absolutely get battered with no, it's like a boxer getting punched over and over again and not throwing any punches back. That's what it felt like. And it was very hard to get behind. But just recently, that draw away to Newcastle, something we haven't done since 2021, was a step in the right direction, in my opinion. Then we went on to beat Brentford 2-0 with a really good attacking display, and Xavi announced himself to the Spurs fans. Then we built on that and got another 3-0 victory versus Slavia Prague in the Champions League, which now, by the way, I saw a stat today. Spurs' last 4 home games in European football, we've won all 4. And no, we haven't won all 4. In all 4, we've kept clean sheets in all 4 of them. So we haven't conceded a goal in the last 4 home games in European football, which is a record for the club. 3 of them, Thomas Frank was in charge. So that's absolutely crazy. So what's the other subjects I've got on there? I've got some more. Yeah, that's a good subject to talk about. So on here, is our home form better in Europe because the standard is lower than in the Premier League? Now, okay. Yes. Yes and no. It depends on what you mean by the standard, because we played Wolves, current Wolves in the Premier League, who have 2 points and are absolutely terrible. And we drew with them at home. But we go and beat Villarreal 1-0, who I think are much better than the Wolves side. So that was nothing to do with standards. That was to do with it was Premier League football. Now, you can't say every team in the Premier League is better than every European team that we've played. We wiped the floor with Frankfurt, which I thought were a very good side last season. Battered Bodo Glimt. So, you know, we drew with AC Milan 0-0 at home. That's one of our 23 unbeaten runs at home in Europe. AC Milan, you could argue, are better than a few teams in the Premier League. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. Is the pressure more off in Europe? Because I don't know what it is. Yeah, the standard is lower than most Premier League matches, I'd say, because you've got like even the Brentfords, Brightons, Crystal Palaces are all top sides now. But this home form in the league needs to change, and it needs to change fast. It was a step in the right direction against Brentford. It really was. So let's see what Dan says here. I think the teams we have played in the Champions League so far have been not classic Champions League teams. The draw has been kind, but we are doing well. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think Villarreal was a good side, but they were off form when we played them. But they're not like the elite Champions League teams. But if you look at the 36 Champions League teams, I'd say there's only, say, 15 that are really top Champions League sides. The rest drop off, and we seem to have got all those fixtures. So we did get lucky that way. And that's why I think we really should push for that top 8 finish, because we had the better fixtures out of everyone else. We really did. You know, we avoided Bayern Munich. We avoided Liverpool's. We couldn't get an English side anyway. We avoided Barcelona. We still got PSG. That's the only top side we had away, and that's the only game we've lost. So you're probably right there. Yeah, so I think we've been lucky with the draw. We will find out how good we are when we get into the last 16 and the quarterfinals. If we get to the quarterfinals, that's when we'll realize if we was out of our depth or not. To be fair, we all know we're not going to win the Champions League. It'd be nice to get quite far in it. Let's say I'd be happy with a quarterfinal finish, like I said before, quarterfinal stage. If we can get there, it will show progression and it'll prove as well that we were worthy of being there. Like when we won the Europa League, everyone said we won it because it was crap, and we didn't deserve to be in the Champions League. If we get to the quarterfinals, that's proof that we did deserve to be in the Champions League, and we actually competed in the Champions League, especially if we finish in the top 8 of that league phase as well. That's just showing you that the Europa League champions can compete in the Champions League, and it proves that what Arsene Wenger said, anybody that wins the Europa League can't go into the Champions League. Well, that will just prove him wrong, and that will make me happy anyway. So that's good. So another subject I've got to talk about is, did Tottenham have a strong summer window? So we signed Xavi, Kudus, Paulinho, Mawani, and Takai. Now, I'd say yes, because the reason why I say yes is because all four of them, other than Takai, four of them out of those five, so except Takai, because he's not even played. I didn't even know he existed for a little while. I thought he was an AI player. But if you look at those four players we signed there, Xavi, Kudus, Paulinho, and Mawani, they've improved our first 11 massively. They really have. Paulinho's had some outstanding games for us. Kudus the same. Mawani's coming on now. Xavi's just started to show how good he really is. Let me just see what Dan's just said. To finish top 8, we need to win the next 2 games. Yep, that's what I was talking about in the Champions League. Yep, 100%, mate. If we don't beat Frankfurt away and Dortmund at home, if we beat Frankfurt away, I'll be really confident of beating Dortmund at home. Both German sides to face, but we have to win those 2 games. But they are winnable, which is very, very. It's very possible. We really could. So yeah, I'm saying that. Did Tottenham have a strong summer window? Yeah, I think Xavi, Kudus, Paulinho, Mawani have really strengthened that first 11, and they've pushed other players onto the bench, which has just made us a squad a lot stronger. But there's still a lot of work to do. I think the summer was a good springboard to, if we can do that in January as well. So I'd say like sign 2 top quality players. We shouldn't expect to be signing 3, 4, 5 quality players in January. I just don't think that's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. There will be reserving funds for top players. There's not many available real top players you can get in January where teams are going to allow their player to leave mid-season. It's not realistic. But if we can sign 2 top quality players, like we did that year when we signed Kulusevski and Bentancur, who I didn't know much about of both, and those 2 absolutely transformed our second half of the season, and we ended up getting into the top 4. If we can do that sort of impact in January, that would be absolutely brilliant. Here's Wix. Hello, mate. Hello, Wick, mate. How you doing? So Wick said, hello there, mate. UEFA Champions League playoffs will prove our actual quality. Hopefully our missing players like Deki, Solanke and Madison can aid us through. The summer window quality is still revealing itself. So are you saying, Wick, that the summer transfer window was not good? Because I think the players that we brought in, like Xavi, Kudus, Paulinho and Mawani, have actually excelled our first 11. I just don't think we did enough, and I think there was too much to do. I don't think we could have done it all in one window. I think it was almost impossible and not very realistic. But if we can build on those 4 players, we don't even know how good Takai is yet. He could be a good player, but we'll see in time. He's a Japanese international. He could end up being all right. But if we can build on those 4 players coming in, then sign, 2 more top quality players in January, and then 4 top quality players next summer, then all of a sudden you've built a very, very strong squad within a year. Frank's still learning his first 11, who he thinks is the best. But if he can bring in who he wants in the next 2 windows and start playing the way he wants to play, the sky's the limit for this side. It really is. We've got everything to be able to be a top side. We just need to show ambition. If Enoch have spun us loads more lies, and that obviously we'll all be saying Enoch out. We're all giving them the benefit of the doubt. I know it's the same people that were there all along, but now with Levy out the way, maybe we can build on transfer windows, and maybe we can actually start saying to ourselves, we are a big club. We've got the best stadium in the world, best training facilities in the world. We've got some of the top finances in the world. We need to act like we're a big club and start competing in the transfer window, because that's the only way we're going to creep up that table and start competing with the top sides. So Dan says, 100% Alan, club needs to show ambition. Yeah, exactly, mate. If we don't show ambition in the transfer windows, how do you expect the club and the managers to show ambition on the pitch? You know, they can only do what the manager can only do with what he's been given. And if he's not given the right tools, if anybody in life are not given the right tools to do a job, they can't do the job to the top ability. They just can't. So Wick says, what I meant, all our new players have shown themselves to be good, but the limit is not reached. Oh, yeah. I'll get you, Wick. Sorry, mate. Yeah, so I agree with that 100%. Xavi is now starting to show what he can do. I still think he can still go up a couple more levels. I still don't think we've seen the best of him yet, especially when he's still linking up with the front players. I still think there's more to come from him. Especially Spurs need to build themselves into form, and that's when you'll see more players getting more confident and putting in better performances. So if let's say Xavi gets better and better, Mawani starts increasing his, Kudos is getting more space now, because these two are getting people start to man mark Xavi and Mawani because they're, you know, top players. Then Kudos is getting more space and he's making more of an impact now. Odegaard's starting to come on leaps and bounds, taking on his man. But I do believe that in the January window, we'll sign a top left-hand side player, and Odegaard can rotate with them. So there's still a lot to do in this squad. There's still so much to do. Wick, you're right there. We still got a capability of doing so much more. But again, like I said, in the transfer window, we need to act like a big club. We need to, you know, how the hell are we going to catch up teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, when they're signing £100 million midfielders to bolster their first 11? And at the time, we were signing Bergvall and Gray, who were only 18 at the time. Yeah, I think they're going to be fantastic players, but that's not good for the now. And sometimes the now can be important, because the now can also build your future. Like if you get a good now, the good now also aids to your good future. So it's hard to explain, but I know what I mean. If you know what I mean, let me know. So yeah, if Spurs start acting like a big club and have more better transfer windows as well, and build on the good transfer window I think we've already had, then there's so much more we can do. Let me see if I had any more subjects I can go on. I've done that already. Yeah. So is there any subjects that you guys want to talk about before I go today? So is there any debates you want me to talk about? Is there anything that you think that Spurs need to improve on? What kind of players do you think we need? Do you think we need to up the wage bill? Do you think we need to, how do we become that top level club? And it's all about bringing in the right players with the right mentality, with the winning mentality, paying them the right amount of money so they stay, winning trophies so they stay, and building from that, and then building a long-term plan rather than trying to win the odd cup every 10 to 20 seasons, because that just is not sustainable at all. It really isn't. So Wick said, okay, I'm finishing soon anyway. So Wick said, I give it 2 years or similar windows of us to actually challenge for the EPL and UJ for Champions League. Imagine adding 2 Chavis, 2 Moranis, 2 Kudos, 2 Polina. Everything before that are just incremental improvements. Yeah, so like I was saying, I agree there, mate. If we every time we sign a player, it's a top quality player and it improves us, because we haven't been doing that in the last, I'd say, 5 years. We haven't been buying the players to improve the first 11. Then it's pointless signing players. It really is. Stop signing players that in 2 years' time you're gonna sell for half the price or let them go on a free or rip up their contract. We need to stop that. Every player that comes in needs to be of a high caliber, top quality player. And the players that we do sell for 30, 40, 50 million rather than letting them go on a free. That way, you're building up money for more top signing players. And when you're getting academy players coming through as well, loan them out, see how good they are. If they're not good enough, sell them. Start selling players. Stop lingering all the time. So I agree. So Dan says, expectations next few games, Alan. Oh, I need to know the fixture list. I know that we're playing Nottingham Forest, and I think we're playing Liverpool after that, aren't we? So let me just go for them two fixtures that I know off the top of my head. Okay, sorry, Dan, you've actually put that. Let's have a look. So you've put Forest, Liverpool, Palace. See, I know it off the top of my head, mate. So Forest, Liverpool, Palace, next games. Oh, is Palace away? I'm not sure. I think Palace is away, isn't it? So that's going to be difficult. But we're good away. I think Forest are showing poor form at the moment. I don't think they're a very good side, to be honest. And we are playing away to Forest, and our away form is really, really good. And I think we'll set up to be hard to beat. We look like we're much better in transition now, attacking wise. With players like Xavi, Mawani, Kudos, we could really hurt them. I think we can beat Forest. I really do. I think we'll keep that away form going. At home to Liverpool, it depends what Liverpool turns up. If the good Liverpool turns up, they won last night against Inter Milan, and that was a really good result for them. Last minute penalty, I think it was. If a good Liverpool turns up, then I think we'd massively struggle. We're at home. If our home form continues in the upward trajectory, then we could be okay. I'm going to say, because Liverpool haven't been great this year, I'm going to say we will draw with Liverpool at home. And then if Palace is away, that's always bad for us. It's always bad for us. But I'm going to keep it positive and say we're going to get a draw, because we've got no Champions League games in between. And that's normally Palace's advantage, because they weren't normally in Europe. Since they've been playing in Europe, they've been really struggling this year, playing twice per week. They're definitely not used to it. I'm going to say draw with Palace away, draw with Liverpool at home, and I think we can beat Forest. And I don't think that's a bad run of games. As long as we don't lose any of those games, I still think I'd still be happy with that. If we won 2 of them and lost 1, that's actually more points than we would if we ended up winning 1 and drawing 2. So depends how you look at it. So Wick says, I think making a hybrid of Frank's defensive mindset and Ange ball will enable most of our players to synergize like top team players. Saw a small glimpse last game. Yeah, Ange ain't here anymore, mate. He's nothing to do with it. Frank's attacking football is pretty decent. If you look at Brentford last season, they were 5th highest goal scorers. So he definitely knows how to get his players attacking. Look what he did with Mbeumo, Wissa, Sade, all banging in the goals. And they were unknown players before he took them on. So I think I know what you're saying, though. Get a mixture of really strong defensive, pragmatic football, but at the same time, when you do attack, really make it clinical and score fast. So I know what you mean, Wick. Definitely do. So Dan says, I agree, Alan. At least don't lose against Forest as long as we play well. Yeah, exactly. Don't lose against Forest, because for some reason we all hate Forest now because of the Morgan Gibbs White thing and their owner. I just want to stick it to them. I want to make sure that we beat them, especially on their home turf. I think they've changed managers. I think at one stage of this season, they had more managers than wins. So we need to make sure we help them in going down this season. I want them to get relegated. I really do. All that mucking about saying they're a bigger club than us because you had one good season. Shut up. You're not bigger than us, mate. You're not bigger than us. So hopefully we'll beat Nottingham Forest. Big chance to beat Liverpool. They are unstable. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. I think it depends what Liverpool turns up. But if we can really frustrate them, really stop their forward players from linking up and counter them, I don't even think we have to counter them. I think if we go for it, we can beat them. That's what Leeds did. Leeds started off counter-attacking them and went 2-0 down. And then Leeds went, stuff this, we're going to attack. And when Leeds started to attack, they started becoming the better side. So I think we should go all out against Liverpool. I'd be happy with a draw, but like you say, they're not impossible to beat. Definitely. Yeah, I think out of the 3 games, I think Palace is going to be the hardest one. I do. I think there's going to be they're very physical. They're very good. Glasner is a superb manager. I think he will get them going. I think he will make sure that he will get them playing at the top level against us. He's lost some good players, but they're still doing very, very well. So yeah, I do think Palace is going to be hard again, but if 2 draws and a win out of those 3 fixtures would be absolutely brilliant. I'm just going to do this last comment and then I'll have to go because I've got to take my wife out. I can't sit on it all day, otherwise I'll get in trouble. So, Wicks, what do you think about Maddison already coming to the training ground, a false positive on his progress, or is he coming back earlier this season? No, he's not coming back earlier. What he is, he's one of the leadership groups, and what he's doing is he's making sure he's staying around the team. It's really good for your mental health if you stay around the team, stay on that pitch. Even walking around the pitch still makes you feel part of it. So what he's doing there is he's just making sure that he keeps his head in the game and keeps him more positive and makes him want to, strive to get fit and get back into this first 11. He's massively missed. And he's such a top guy as well. All the players seem to really love him. And when he does come back, he will be a top player again. Cheers, Dan. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting and everything. Thank you to Wick as well, mate. Thanks for all your comments today. I do need to go. But thank you everybody for coming on to my first ever Spurs debate show. There will be one. I'll probably do one a week for now. If not, if there's more news, I will be doing more per week. So thank you, Wick. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. And I'll see you on the next one. Come on, you Spurs.